We're going to watch McFarland followed by Stedman, and they're going to talk about the arbitration ruling. And so let's hear what the two cronies have to say.
Right. Keep on.
So, last Friday, we did receive a long-awaited ruling on last summer's arbitration award. All in all, I think it was good news for TriMet and its writers. Their employment relations certainly had a split decision. There's some things in there that were beneficial to the ATU case and some that were quite beneficial to us. What we most appreciated about it was that the ongoing costs, continuing expense part of the arbitration was sustained in TriMet's favor, so that was very advantageous for us. I wanted to bring Randy Stedman up to give you a little bit more of a digest of what we understand about the decision right now. So Randy, could you join us?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
As Neil said, last Friday the IRB issued a decision, and it upheld the contract award issued by arbitrator Gabe with two exceptions. One related to the retroactivity and recoupment portion of the health care proposal, and the other actually were related to funds that were not part of arbitrator Gabe's award. They related to the employment, the EAP fund, Employee Assistance Fund, and the REC fund. Which were in our last offer as fund contributions that had self-terminated through the language of the contract. There were counts in the ULP regarding those two funds, but arbitrator Gabe didn't have that as part of his award at all. So again, good news. Most aspects of the award were upheld and upheld as already implemented. As you know, we had implemented all aspects of the contract award except for the retroactive portion of the health care proposal. So Dave, I think Dave Oxera is going to talk about the financial implications, but the award basically has none. We had budgeted for that, again, except for those two contributions to the EAP and the REC fund. So procedurally, at this point, either party can file reconsideration petitions with IRB within 14 days of last Friday, and then there is a potential appeal within 60 days to the Court of Appeals. So either of those two venues are open to the parties. I think IRB's overall admonition to the parties is their decision. It would be a good point of inflection to close the books on this and focus forward. But again, those options are available to the parties. So what's this mean, this decision by IRB, what's it mean to employees? One, the union healthcare plan design that was implemented September 1st, 2012 remains in place for union employees. As a result of IRB's decision, TriMet may not seek to recoup the healthcare costs retroactive to the beginning of the 2009 to 2012 contract. But again, that plan design that was implemented September 1st remains in place. We'll begin recalculating the premiums that employees paid. As you recall, there was, for a couple of years, there was an option 1 and option 2 for the union healthcare plan, and one of those options included premium contributions. Our last best offer included a proposal as required by IRB that there be no contribution of premiums for the contract period, and so we'll begin recalculating what employees paid in premiums and refund that. That issue of refundable premiums is also a part of our Court of Appeals case under UP 3910, which you'll recall is the case that said while TriMet has the right to pass on increased insurance costs once a contract expires, it did so in that case impermissibly, and the make-whole remedy was to refund the premium. So both the award of the contract and UP 3910 have essentially, in that respect, the same remedy: pay back the premiums. The Court of Appeals yesterday issued a partial stay in our appeal, partial stay of IRB's order, so that it gives the parties additional time while 3910 is still pending before we refund the premiums. However, we have a mediation in mid-August, and
Oh, you heard that right. They did stay the order, so TriMet doesn't have to pay back the money they illegally took out of our paychecks for the health care plan that they illegally imposed on us. So once again, TriMet has not met its obligation to pay us back, but would rather fight us in court. You know, when you hear something like that, why does anybody show up for work there? They're trying to fuck us over. Okay, I don't work there anymore. I left basically because I couldn't stand working there anymore. But for the people that are working there, you have a company here who's trying to fight repaying its employees costs that they illegally imposed on us. How can you have any kind of loyalty to a company that is intentionally and arbitrarily trying to steal from you?
once we implement Herb's order, I'm not sure that there's anything left of 3910 appeal. So I think that I'm hoping that the parties will agree that that issue is moot, and that issue will also be closed, and with the premiums reimbursed to employees that they paid during the contract period. We will pay.
Okay, now he's saying he is going to pay. I can't really make out what Stedman is saying. On one hand, he's saying it's in the appeal. On the other hand, he's saying it's going to pay. But then he's also saying it has something to do with some kind of upcoming negotiation with the union. So in other words, we're back to the, okay, we'll give you the money back if. It's a big if. That's what I'm hearing there. You know, you're going to have to agree to something to get this money back. That's what it sounds like to me.
Pay under Herb's order the $63,000 and $73,000 for the EAP and Rec Trust Fund within 30 days, and those amounts are calculated for 2012 only and reflect the 2008 levels increased each year for both funds by $2,000. Herb did not order us to pay for 2009, 10, and 11. Those increased amounts of $2,000 because ATU did not ask for that. And we're also ordered to continue the status quo with regard to those two funds, increasing from here out $2,000 until bargaining responsibilities are commenced or until the parties reach agreement about those funds. And we have made a proposal in our contract proposals that we made to the ATU last November to eliminate those fund contributions. The defined contribution plan that we put in place for new employees effective August 1st, 2012 and after remains in place. The change from September 1 to the following February 1 as the date used to calculate pension amounts using that pension multiplier, that remains in place. The change to the existing COLA in May of each year using a 0 to 7% based on CPI remains in effect, and 90% of that amount for retirements that occur after August 1st, 2012 also remain in effect, as opposed to the 3 to 5% COLA increases that were awarded previously. And then all other aspects of the arbitrator GABA's award that weren't challenged also remain in effect. So in summary, that's what the award says, and happy to answer any questions.
That was an interesting presentation, and the interesting part of the presentation is that it didn't seem like the same presentation they gave to the media, did it? You didn't hear anybody bragging about TriMet wins the arbitration award. The future is bright for all of us because we won. You didn't hear any of that. You heard a basically factual. I didn't hear really anything that was not factual. Now that I'm thinking back, I didn't. It seemed all very factual. The stuff that I read and that other people read was there. No claims of majesty or incredible victories. Stedman almost seemed reasonable. Of course, you can't trust his appearance and what he said. You know, he's in the board, so he'd be more friendly, or what would be the word? He'd be more apt to be pretending that he's somebody that he's not, in the sense that, oh, look at me, I'm very professional and I'm very good. Yeah, so the only thing that strikes me about this testimony about the ELRB, as he calls Herb, because he's so cool. The only thing that strikes me about the Herb decision and their discussion of it is that they didn't do the bragging that they did to the media. So that's an interesting observation, by the way, that they would put out for public consumption this baloney, but at the board meeting they'd be more or less factual. Interesting.